Someone's catch joining. All right. All right, so let's get started. All right, well, good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining for our May club meeting. We got two topics for tonight's meeting. So first, we're going to start with Michael Joseph and Lynn Pesely, going to give us an overview of the volunteer work they do with the Sacramento Medical Reserve Corps in the area. And then we've got our main topic for main presentation afterwards will be, I'll be giving a presentation about web resources for the radio amateur. I've got a bunch of slides to go through with a number of different recommendations of some of my favorite things online related to ham radio. And then tonight we're going to push the club business to the end of the meeting. Jojo said he might not be available until the end, so move that to the end if that's okay with everyone. All right, so we get started. Michael and Lynn, can I hand over to you?
Yes. Just 1 second.
I think we got a bit of an echo.
Yeah.
And let me know if you want me to share the slides for you, or if you want to share.
Oh gosh. Just a second. Let me get rid of this one.
I think the computers are too close together.
Yeah, let me mute a bunch of people as well, just in case.
All right, let's see. Let me go in to start video. Okay, all right, here we go. And click.
Campaign that still has on their website hate speech attacking Asian Americans.
The governor is facing challenges.
Can you mute if you're not speaking? Thanks.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah,
okay, perfect. Okay, so let me get to my presentation slideshow from the beginning. Okay, and then I'll go here and share screen. Okay, here we go. Can you see the slides now?
Yep, that's good.
Okay, yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Lynn Pesely with the Sacramento Medical Reserve Corps, and with me is Michael Joseph, and he is an MRC member since 2015. The Sacramento Medical Reserve Corps engages volunteers to strengthen public health, emergency response, and community resiliency. So let me tell you, let's see, I'm gonna go from beginning, here we go. Okay, so we started in 2003 by the Sacramento County Sheriff's Department after 9/11. We were the 42nd MRC to start in the nation. And right now there are about 800 medical reserve corps across the country. So we were one of the first. In 2009, we moved from the Sheriff's Office to the Sacramento County Office of Emergency Services, and that's where we are now. We have 743 active MRC members, and that's actually a 500 member increase since the start of COVID-19. So we have been really busy. We have lots of emergency response partners, including public health, law enforcement, the coroner's office, EMS, communications. So we're very active in the emergency response world. And here's some examples of things that we do. So we have a couple of medical trailers, one of them stationed at our SAC OES offices, one of them at the SAC International Airport for in case of a plane crash or some kind of disturbance in the terminals. Here's the inside of our trailers with one of our nurses coming out. We had, we responded to the Northern California wildfires, and here's a picture of some of our team that was up at Butte County for the campfire, and we were given some recognition by the EMS authority for all of the good work that was done up there at the evacuation centers, providing medical care, and also work at the coroner's office. We also work closely with the Office of Emergency Services, our office. So if they ever feel that some incident may need medical help or some kind of assistance from us, we sometimes stage at our offices. So this is one of our teams out there waiting to see if we will be needed. COVID-19 response has been huge for us for the last, like 14 months. So we have actually put in 21,000 volunteer hours. So our team has been working around the clock, every day of the week, actually, for a lot of the time, working vaccination and testing clinics, the COVID-19 hotline, which is for the public during the day, after hours call support for healthcare facilities overnight and on weekends, laboratory courier, case investigation and contact tracing, and data entry. So we have some of our members in action working the Cal Expo drive-through clinics, the clinics at some of our schools, and doing vaccinations. So here we have some of our members doing the COVID-19 hotline. We have Jojo working a testing clinic, another member delivering valuable PPE to medical facilities to help keep them safe, contact tracing, case investigation. And this is another event, but the marathon, California International Marathon, we participate in that every year. We have medical and non-medical volunteers and a variety of roles for everyone. And we are right in the middle of the action. So here's one of our members, Beatrice, ready to help someone who is having a medical issue after they finish the marathon. So this year has been all-consuming with COVID-19 for a lot of us, but in normal years, we do a variety of activities like the marathon again. Here are some of our members with their radios. We do the Capitol Air Show, providing medical care there and communications with the fire department. We do moulage to simulate injuries for exercises for the highway patrol and other law enforcement, the airports, to help them prepare for emergencies. And we work flu clinics too for public health. So we have a lot of members who have been here, some ever since we started in 2003, and they're still active. Others are just coming on board and really love their work with the MRC. Here's some more shots of our members working the Capitol Air Show. So on those air show weekends, we have usually 2 medical tents staffed by about 10 people each. And we work the whole weekend, Saturday and Sunday, all day. And our members just have a blast, and they get to go around and see the planes and watch the shows too. So they love it. Here's a picture of Michael actually pushing a person who actually walked using the walker, the city police department's Run with the Cops event. We provide first aid at some of these large public events. And this guy is a father of an officer, and he actually felt the need to walk the entire 5K race using a walker, and he just had knee surgery. And so he still had bandages on his knees from getting knee replacements, and he did that and made it through, but he needed a little assistance at the end, but he was still cheerful. You see his smile. We also do fun events like emergency preparedness outreach events. This is one of our teams at the state fair, giving out materials, and then they get to enjoy the state fair after their shift. So during times when we can have meetings in person, we have great meetings, training meetings at Shriners Hospital for Children. They're a great partner of ours, and we have meetings in their auditorium once a month. So we do trainings like first aid, CPR, stop the bleed, you are the help until help arrives. And this is an example of that, where our members are learning how to use tourniquets. We also have trainings on utility emergencies, communications, like basics on how to use a radio, flu clinics, and other trainings. And the trainings that don't cost money, we welcome anyone to come to those. So the Sacramento Medical Reserve Corps, in addition to being a program of the Sacramento County Office of Emergency Services, we also started a nonprofit 501c3 foundation that raises funds to support our program. And so we're able to get some good perks for our members, like Kings games. This time we had a Kings game and a suite. We've had some concerts that we're able to take our members to. We were set up to go for soccer games, and then they closed down some things, but we try to give our members as much of a chance for camaraderie and having fun too. So those are examples of that. We were 2017 Nonprofit of the Year for California, and this is a picture of us getting an award at the California State Senate. So that was kind of fun to be on the floor there. And we participate in the Big Day of Giving every year, and that's coming up on Thursday. So we're hoping for a successful year. So that's my brief presentation on MRC. If people are interested in joining our Medical Reserve Corps and getting involved, you can just go to our website at sacmrcfoundation.org. We welcome you. And we also have a Facebook page with lots of pictures of our members in action if you want to see what we do. So next, before we open it up to questions, I want to invite Michael to give a presentation. Michael Joseph.
Sorry, it took me a minute to unmute my equipment.
Okay.
And turn my camera on. For those who don't know me, my name is Michael Joseph. My call sign is Kilo Kilo 6 Zulu Golf Bravo. I'm part of Sacramento Aries. I'm part of Sacramento Medical Reserve Corps. I'm part of American Red Cross. And for most of that work, I do communications work. And you ask, how can amateur radio help? Well, of the 743, I believe, members that Lynn had listed, there are 6 to 8 of us that are amateur radio operators. If we're working an event, we need more assistance. We need more radio operators. And amateur radio operators, they can assist by the Medical Reserve Corps by, excuse me, doing various things such as using our radios. But in my write-up, I talked about information. A good member would be able to do digital and also use the county 800 system. We would train you at that, but if you're dealing at a medical clinic and you have a doctor who needs specific medication, specific equipment, we all know how funky they're spelled and how all that doesn't work. But we would get the medical provider who's asking for this equipment to give us a flash drive or something with digital information on it, and we could send that message so he gets exactly what he needs. It's the difference between delivering a message and delivering information. There's so many ways to do it nowadays if the regular phones and computers aren't working. If we're not needed to do amateur radio stuff, as you saw in those pictures, I do a lot of support activities now. I made over 1,000 hours, I believe, in the first 3 years of being there, assisting Lynn in just about a little bit of everything. So the radio amateur, it's important. It's important to have when things do happen. And that's where we would like the support from our amateur radio partners. And that's about it. Thank you for your time.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, Michael. Those are good points. And that's another thing. We give out Presidential Service Awards for our volunteers who have volunteered 100, 250, and 1,000 hours. And like Michael said, he's been a dynamo and has volunteered 1,000 hours with us, or something like that, some large amount of hours. So he's definitely a gold award winner for MRC. Let's see, also with the use of radios, when we do events like first aid events, we often work with fire departments, and either we use our own radios for communications with them should we need to call an ambulance or get bike patrol or some other care, or else they give us one of their radios. So it's really nice when we have someone on our team who is comfortable using a radio and trained on how to do that. So there's that option. And also with other events that we do, we like actual deployments for emergency response, we also use radio communications. Our program has 800 megahertz radios. We have the new APX 8000, and we also have ham radios. Okay, so I'd like to open it up for any questions you may have. I will stop sharing my screen here.
Okay, thanks, Lynn. Thanks, Michael.
You're welcome.
Anyone have any questions? Comments? Does anyone already work with the group apart from Jojo?
Well,
Yeah,
actually,
go ahead.
go ahead, Carol.
Okay, yeah, I just want to thank Lynn and Mike also. Mike, thank you also for your work in Aries and for coming to speak to the club.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome, Jojo. Okay.
I'm looking at the SAC-MRC Foundation or website, and they're made up of a lot of emergency health, mental, dentists, pharmacists. So mostly you would need people for radio. I don't see that any of these things I'm qualified for.
No, we actually have medical people and we have a lot of support people. 2/3 of our members are medical, 1/3 are support and don't have a medical license, but we have lots of roles for them. And I think actually now we have at least 10, maybe more than that, people who are ham radio licensed. And then we also have, like I said, communications trainings where Aries comes in and ORS, our SAC OES communications group, comes in and gives a training to our members so that we can pass around a radio, practice talking to each other in groups. We've done some exercises with that too, but we welcome radio experts like you.
And if you weren't operating a radio, you would be able to do the paperwork. There's a lot of paperwork that's involved when you're helping somebody. The more non-medical people we have able to do the paperwork at an event, the more time the medical professionals can spend with their patients, their clients, and help them.
Oh, actually, I'm reading a little further down. So things like translators, sign language, social workers, administrators, and public relations professionals are also needed. So I just had to read a little further down into what was written up. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Lynn and Michael?
Yes. One of the things that caught my attention was the training that he indicated on CPR and things like that. Is this the site that we would go to identify dates and times?
The training for the classes like that cost money, like CPR and first aid, those are for our members that are signed up as members. But once you're a member, we announce each month what our trainings are.
Very well, thank you very much.
So how do you get to pick what days you volunteer?
Yes.
Or do you?
Yes, we don't have any minimum days that you have to volunteer or a big set training curriculum. We invite you to come on board, and then you can come to any of our trainings that interest you. You can sign up for any activities that fit your schedule. Yeah, which right now with COVID-19, we have a lot, but even on times when it's not busy like this, we still have a training every month and at least an activity or two every month that you have the opportunity to participate in. Those could be on the weekends or during the day or in the evening. So a variety of times for people's schedules.
Okay. Any other questions or any other comments? All right. Well, thanks, Lynn and Michael, for joining us and telling us about the good work that you do. And thanks for taking the time to join us tonight. Thank you. And you're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting if you like, or you can drop off, up to you.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank
Keep
you.
up your good work too. Take care.
Thanks very much. Thank you. All right.
Thank you. I'm going to hang around and listen because I'm interested in your next topic.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah. Right. Let me just swap slides here. I need to find where are my slides? Here we go. All right, so let me just share my screen again. And if anyone give me a shout if there's any questions in the chat while I'm presenting. I can't see the chat questions while I'm sharing my slides, so just give me a shout. Or if anyone's got any questions, like as I'm going, just shout out and we can talk about it as we go. Let's see. All right. So the topic for the main presentation tonight was that we wanted to talk about some recommended online resources for hams. So I'm jokingly calling it, these are a few of my favorite things. So rather than just finding a bunch of stuff online, I tried to pick a list of things that I've found useful or that I've used in the past, and you use those as recommendations. So I've got a whole bunch of things, but I kind of tried to group them together in a couple of categories. So first of all, I think we should talk about the resources that the club has, because we have a bunch of stuff online. And Carol does a great job keeping all of our club social media stuff and our website up to date. So we'll just do a quick recap on that so we know what things we've got out there, like what is available. And then the other topics, I've got things grouped together. I've got signal spotter type sites. And then I've got a list of some online communities like forums and places where you can go for help and to ask questions. I've got a list of some YouTube channels and YouTubers that I've enjoyed and recommend. We've got a list of some audio podcasts and some other reference sites as well. So stop me if you've got any questions as we go, but I've got about 45 slides to go through, so I might go a bit quick. But if there's anything that you find interesting, you don't have to jot down all the URLs and things. Like we'll put the slides up on the website, so don't try and write everything down as I go, because we won't be able to get through it quick enough. All right, so first of all, let's just talk about the stuff that the club has. First of all, we've got a club website, which Carol does a great job of keeping up to date. There's a few other things that we have as well. We've got our public club website on, or our Facebook site on Facebook. There's also a club members group as well that a few of you have joined, and we have a few interactions going on in there. A couple of years back, we started a Google discussion group, and I think this one's kind of fallen out of favor. Originally, we had a bit of activity in there, but I think most of us have probably forgot that it's even out there anymore. Some of the other things are getting a lot more interest and a lot more traffic. We've got our club YouTube channel, so all of our Wednesday meetings get recorded. This has been recorded and that'll be up on YouTube. And Carol also streams the SSTV net, and that gets recorded, and that's up on the channel there as well. We also have a club Twitter account. And then we've also got a Discord server as well, which Tom Cutter set up for us for Field Day last year. We used that to keep in touch as we were all working remote doing Field Day. And we've kept that up and running, and that seems quite a lot of good activity on there. And if that's something that you haven't seen, or if you want to get involved and you want to get access to that, if you just send us an email to our contact email address, and then Tom can send you an invite link and get you added. I think of all the options to interact with other club members, I think we're getting the most activity on the Discord server. So if you haven't seen that and you want to check that out, send us an email and we'll send you a link and you can take a look. All right. Next topic, actually I didn't have this in my list, but I thought it'd be worthwhile talking about web SDRs and online radios that we have available. These are a great resource to play with someone else's radio. So there's two main categories here. You've got the web SDR type online radios, and you got the Kiwi SDRs. And I know Carol's done a presentation about her Kiwi SDR previously. I think that was last year sometime. And the recording for that is up on our YouTube channel. So if you missed that meeting, you can go and check it out there. Let me just give a quick overview of what these are. So first of all, if you go to the websdr.org website, you'll see this list of all these online radios that are available. And you've got a big long list here. Currently it says there's 191 different online web SDRs that are available. They're in multiple different places all around the world. And as you scroll down this list, you'll see that most of them have like a different frequency range where they've been set up. So the one I think is the most famous one is this university in the Netherlands, where they've got the whole of HF covered. And if you scroll down this list, you've got like loads of different radios all over the place. And if I just go down, there's also a map as well. So if you want to see where these radios are located, you can click on the link to get to the map, and you can see all the locations. And then from here, you can click one of the pins, and it'll bring you up a link where you can click it and you can jump through and start up the radio and start using it. So if you've never seen these before, this is what it looks like. When you click on that link and go through, you'll see a waterfall of everything that they're receiving, and you can tune it, you can change the modes. You've got some of them show you like placeholders as well, like markers of like what's commonly found on different frequencies. I think right now I'm looking at 20 meters from like 1420 up to like 14240 up the end. So you can see on the right hand side, there's a whole bunch of some single sideband QSOs going on. And then if you look down on the left, you can see there's some CW activity. And then you got this huge amount of FT8 and other digital mode activities going on around like between 1070 up to like 1090. So it's a great way if you've never played with these things, like take a look and have a tune around, and it's great fun. The other alternative is the Kiwi SDRs, the Carol's presented on before. And if you go to their website, kiwisdr.com, you've got the same kind of thing, got a list of all the radios that they have available online. And then they also have a map and same kind of thing. You can click the pin, get a link, click it, and then you can start listening to their radio. This is one of the better ones, I think, and most of us probably know of this already and maybe have already used it. But at the KFS Maritime site, they've got a number of different Kiwi SDRs and web SDRs set up. And if you look at some of the pictures on their website, they've got some fantastic antennas out there right on the edge of the ocean there. So in a great location, low noise, fantastic antennas. So it's a great way to do some listening online, probably with much better equipment than any of us have got, or probably much better antenna setups anyway, in a low noise environment. If you click through on their site, they've got 4 different Kiwi SDR options, and the antennas are all configured to point in different directions. So they've got an omnidirectional setup antenna, and then they've got one going to northwest, one to southwest, one to southeast. So you've even got different options to listen to particular locations as well, if you're interested in some DX coming from some particular place. This is what their UI looks like for controlling the radio. The same kind of thing, you've got a waterfall. You can see all the activity there. I think again, I'm looking at 20 meters. So same kind of thing. Got some CW going on. There's a whole bunch of digital activity going on over here, and some SSB QSOs going on. You can tune the radio around, change the modes. The other interesting thing with the Kiwi SDRs is they've also got some plugins where you can decode signals. They've got a CW decoder, they've got a WeatherFax decoder, a bunch of other things in there. I think there might be a Whisper decoder, I think, in there as well. So they've got a whole bunch of different things that are like, configured into the user interface here. You can select from this drop down and then start decoding some digital stuff on there as well. But the reason why these are interesting is because you can choose to listen from some other location. So you're not limited from just where you are, listening from your location with your radio and your antenna. This gives you an opportunity to listen to someone else's radio, like virtually anywhere in the world. You've got hundreds of different locations. So if you want to find out, what is it you can hear in Europe in the morning or in the evening, or what are they hearing on the East Coast, or what are they hearing in South America, or whatever. You've got almost instant access to any of these for free. And it gives you a great opportunity to virtually be somewhere different and listen to see what it is that they can hear from their location. So great opportunity to play around with some radio. Next category, I've got a list of signal spotter type sites, and these kind of went in order that I found them, I think. So I think I started off playing with DX Maps and then found DX Watch, and it kind of went through these in this kind of order. And then my favorite one that I'll come to as I go through this list is pskreporter.info. Couple more that I've listed on here, but won't go into too much detail. There's a great site for looking at APRS information, like in the local area. And also one I found recently for finding where packet radio stations are located as well. This one I think is newer than some of the other ones. We can step through these in turn. So this is dxmaps.com, showing you like who can hear who, and you can see the lines between stations on who's reporting who they can hear. And you can click through the menu options up here. You can select HF, or you can select VHF. You can select the bands that you're interested in. So right now I'm looking at 20 meters. And this was on, I think this was Sunday lunchtime or Sunday afternoon, I think. So you got a whole bunch of activity on 20 meters across most of the US, and some DX going on as well. They've also got this list option here. So up in the top left, you can click on the map, or you can click on the list. And this gives you a bit more information about what mode they're using, signal reports here. So most of their information is coming either from like FT8 digital mode or CW. Look down this list, and you can see the frequency they're operating on, signal reports over here. Interesting ads on their site as well. Not quite sure what's going on there or why I need to see jewelry, but yeah, okay. Next one is DX Watch. So it's kind of similar, but without the map. But I've got some good filters on the site. So you can select filters like by band or by location, or if you want to filter it down to like the area that's receiving or the area that's sending. So this was on Sunday and on 20 meters again. And I think this site gets most of their information from people logging to Log of the World, I think that's where they're getting their information. But it's a good way to see what activity is out there at any particular time, who can hear who, who's working who, and see what activity is going on. Reversebeacon.net, this is for CW only. This one's driven by other stations that are running some software called CW Skimmer. So over on the right-hand side, you see there's, at the time where I took this screenshot, there was 175 stations running the CW Skimmer software, and they're reporting back any CW station that they could hear. So you've got who's sending, who's receiving, and it's picking up a bunch of people operating CW. We've got like their words per minute and signal strength as well. This one's kind of similar, but I think slightly newer than some of the other ones. And there's a couple of different features on here that I think are interesting. This is hamspots.net. And this one you can filter like for stations that you've heard and other stations that are hearing you as well, which is interesting. So I've logged on this site. You can see down the bottom left that I'm logged on, and I've got your spot history here. And if I click on that link, then I can see on the left-hand side, I've got stations that I heard. And then over on the right-hand side, I've got where my signal was heard as well. So this is interesting. So you see this was Sunday afternoon, I think. And I heard a couple of stations. I had one in Argentina, one in Dominican Republic. Most of the others, Canada, US, Alaska. And then it's interesting to see when you're transmitting, so I was working some FT8 on 20 meters, like what stations could hear me? So I was being heard in Washington, Oregon, Arizona, Wyoming. Yeah, mostly on the West Coast. But I'll show you one of the other sites that gives a slightly different view of the same information as well that I like. Also on this site, this is slightly different from the other ones. You've got a chat option as well. So you can spot other stations. You can do like an announce for yourself. And I noticed there was one station here. They're asking for Wyoming on 17 meters for their work tool states. So if you're looking for some particular contact and you want to make an announcement, this is a good place where you can do it, or you can like schedule a contact with someone to get that contact that you're looking for some certificate. The SK Reporter. Okay, so this is, I think, is probably my favorite of all these types of spotter type site. And I think what makes this one super interesting is just the amount of traffic and activity that this site has. It's just incredible. Like at this point on Sunday lunchtime, you can see on this bar across the middle, so I haven't applied any filters yet, but it's saying there's 7,527 stations that are active, like feeding information into this site. And they're plotted all over the world. The different colors are representing the bands that are listening on. So if I go down this list, you've got, there's like 189, oh, let me put it this way, 467 on 15 meters, 551 on 30 meters. Can't read the yellow on the monitor. 845 on 10 meters. So you've got stations all around the world on all different bands, listening, running software and feeding into this site. And this is, I filtered it down to stations within grid square CM, so for our location, on 20 meters within the last 15 minutes at 12 o'clock, so midday on Sunday. And these are all the stations that could be heard from our location, like in the CM grid square. So you got mostly all across the US, you got some stations over in Europe as well, and some over in Asia on this side. And the fascinating thing, if you look at some of the stats and some of the other information on this site, down on the bottom in the footer, there's a count of the number of reception records this site is receiving, and it's up to like 19 billion or something. And if you sit there and watch this site, this number will just be like constantly updating and flipping going forward. And there's a stat here that at this particular time when I was looking, they were receiving 342 spots a second. That's an incredible amount of data that this place is accumulating. And the amount of activity, I think, is what makes this one really interesting. So just playing around with the filters. So up in the top left, you can select the band that you're interested in. So now I flipped it over to 15 meters. So at lunchtime on 15 meters, there was some West Coast activity, tiny bit of activity across the US. On 10 meters, midday on Sunday, there was some activity, some even going all the way across to the East Coast, down to South America, and across to Hawaii as well. So the great thing that I like about this site is it's a really easy way just to look at the site and say, okay, I wonder what's going on 20 meters. Okay, I can see that. And then, okay, well, I wonder if there's any activity on 15. You can take a look. You can flip through all the different bands and just see and get an idea of what's going on. So if you're interested in doing some, working some 10 meters, you can take a quick look. If there's nothing there, then you don't even have to turn your radio on. But if you see some activity there, it might give you a heads up that something interesting is going on. The other thing it shows you is who's heard you. So I did a couple of CQs and I worked a couple of stations, and the yellow pins that don't have a number on them, these are all stations that are listening but didn't hear me. And then the ones that have the bubble with the time on there, this is the time when they last heard me. So over on the East Coast, I had like at this particular time, so I'm in the evening now, 5:40 on Sunday in the evening. They were hearing me over on the East Coast, a whole bunch of activity on the West Coast and over in Hawaii. And what's interesting as well is there's so many stations that are listening and reporting on this site, you can see patterns in the propagation as well. So there's obviously like a very thick band of propagation, like up and down on the West Coast. Then you got this other Midwest band here. And then you got like a band of nothing. So there was no propagation making it to that area there. And then there must have been like a couple of jumps across to the East Coast and making it all the way there. So I find it interesting you can see these patterns. If you look at different times of the day and different bands, there's so many stations that are listening and reporting that you can see these interesting patterns going on in the propagation. All right, so moving on. So that was spotter type sites. So now looking at like social sites and discussion sites, places where you can go for help. I see this meme pop up a few times. And I don't know if you've seen this before or if you come across that kind of comments, but some of these communities are more welcoming to new hams than others. So my advice would be, try it. If you don't like it or you get some response that you don't like, there's plenty of others. Just move on and try another one. The ones that I have found more welcoming though, and I thought this was surprising because it wouldn't have been the place I would have gone straight away to find like help and advice on amateur radio. But on Reddit, there's a number of amateur radio related subreddits, they call them on there. So there's one like specifically for amateur radio, there's one for shortwave, there's one for radio in general, there's one for the RTL SDR dongles, there's one for receiving ADS-B transponder signals from planes. There's a whole bunch of like really like specific interests out there that people like get together and talk about. But I found all these pretty interesting. And taking a quick look at the one on amateur radio, they got 84,000 operators that have joined this group. And at a particular time when I was looking, I think this was Sunday afternoon as well, there was 435 other people who were like browsing through in the amateur radio topic. So it's a good place where you can go and like just browse and see what people are talking about or ask questions or share information. The RTL SDR dongle one as well, huge community there, 75,000 people that are part of that community. 184 people were browsing through at that time. Okay, next one, for very specific technical type questions where you're not asking for a point of view or an opinion or a discussion, but you've got something that maybe is not working and you just want to find out, has anyone seen this and why is it not working? There's a technical group called stackexchange.com, which is popular amongst software developers, but they do also have a ham radio specific topic as well. And this one's pretty useful. The only thing to keep in mind though is that the way that the site works is that they're tailored for like very specific question and answers. So it's not a discussion type forum. But if you've got some question you're looking for help on, you can post there and you'll probably get an answer pretty quick. QRZ.com. Most of us use the site to look up call signs to find out like where someone is or get an address to send a QSL card or something. But they have a large number of forum topics there. The main one, that's the general ham radio discussions, has a huge amount of activity there. It's pretty active. So that might be a good place to reach out to. Loads of activity, loads of people use that site. Another one's eham.com. This one, a whole bunch of different categories as well, lots of activity. The one thing I found that I like on this site is they have a lot of equipment reviews. So if someone's bought an antenna or bought a radio or bought something, the people on the site like post reviews on that stuff. And on any one particular thing, like on a particular radio, you have like hundreds of different reviews from loads of different people. So if you're looking to find some opinion on some equipment maybe you're looking to buy, that might be a good place to look and get a point of view. YouTube channels and other video series. So I think the most obvious one most of us probably heard of is Ham Nation. Also there's Amateur Logic TV. There's one called TX Factor that I'll talk about in a minute. A couple of other popular YouTubers in our ham radio world, Randy Hall, Dave Kassler, and loads more as well. I was going down my list of all the YouTube channels that I'm subscribed to try and find some good recommendations, but I think these are probably the ones that I've watched most over time. So Ham Nation, they have their videos on YouTube. They moved their channel recently. So up until December, they were on this channel here, Ham Nation. And in January, they moved to Ham Radio Crash Course. And they used to do their videos weekly, and now I think they're on a 2-weekly schedule. The presenters on this channel, probably recognize some of these names: Bob Heil, Gordon West, George Thomas, and others. They used to do the production of their videos with This Week in Tech, Leo Laporte's video network, but they ended that association in December. I think they were cutting down some of the channels they were running for cost reasons on the site. You can still find all their old videos on their old YouTube channel though, and also from the Twit TV website. But if you're looking to find where they are now, they moved to this ham radio crash course channel with Josh Nass, KI6NAZ. And this is the first time that I came across his channel, actually. He's got a bunch of really interesting videos, and he usually posts at least like once a week on some topic. So he had some interesting ones like setting up like WinLink and operating on the beach and all sorts of like random things. A lot of good content that he puts out too. Amateur Logic TV. You notice George Thomas from Ham Nation as well co-presents this one with Tommy Martin and Mike Morneau. They say on their website, this is the longest running home video series. They've been going for 16 years. So they have a huge amount of content on their channel. So if you got some time to spend and you want to scroll back through all their past episodes, they've got hundreds and hundreds of episodes. I think they tend to be more technical in nature compared to Ham Nation. There's lots of focus on electronics and kit building, but they have a lot of good content on their site as well. And I think they also have a separate parallel site for new hams as well, which I haven't seen it listed on their website, but I haven't watched any of the content. But I think they had like a ham university weekly series or something where they were doing training for new hams. So if you're a new ham and you're looking for some help to get ready for doing your exams, then maybe that's a good resource. TX Factor. So this one's interesting. They only do like 2 or 3 episodes a year, which is unfortunate because the content of the video they put out and the production is like super high quality. And I think a couple of the guys that work on these videos, I think they work in TV. So I think they've got a professional TV background. But if you haven't come across these before, go find their channel on YouTube. And they have 27 episodes, like going back over the last couple of years. They've got some really interesting content on their site. It tends to be more of an interview format, I found. So they'll go out and they'll visit someone at their shack and interview them about their equipment and their antennas and their setup. And there was also a couple of episodes I watched where they were going around different swap meets, like finding like interesting equipment that was out there. And they're based in the UK, so there's like a different view on amateur radio from the UK. Okay, moving on to individual channels. Randy Hall has a ton of great content. I don't know how he keeps pumping out all this content. He's just producing new videos every week. Lots of really good content for new hams. I've recommended a few people to go and look at some of his videos for like programming handy talkies and things like that, or building like the first dipole or something like that. It's got a really good selection of new intro kind of content for new hams. Dave Kassler, same kind of thing, a lot of really good content for new hams. He has this Ask Dave show as well, where he takes questions that people post in the comments. So if you've got like some question about something you've been wondering about, he might pick up your question and answer it in one of the videos. A lot of really good content again. All right, for podcasts, number that I've listened to regularly, we've got Solar Smoke. We recently had Bill and Pete on one of our past meetings. They put out a lot of really good content. There's also Amateur Radio Newsline. There's QSO Today. At least one of our club members has been interviewed on that show. So if you don't know who that was, maybe go and browse through their past episodes and see if you can spot who it was. And ICQ Podcast as well is another good one that I've listened to quite a bit. So general purpose kind of reference sites. I've just got a couple here in this category. This one, this signal identification guide, I find this really interesting because they have screenshots from a waterfall of what signals look like. They also have recordings of the signal as well. So if you're listening to something online and you're wondering, what's that weird sound? You can browse around on here, listen to examples. They have really good descriptions of what the different kinds of signals are. And then they have them broken down into different categories as well. So they've got like bi, like HF, UHF, whatever, and different kind of categories as well. So digital or specifically to amateur radio, number stations, and all kinds of other weird, interesting stuff on there. It's good for a browse around if you've got some time to spare. And one more just for general reference, radioreference.com. They have really good forums that are pretty active. They also have a number of wiki pages on different topics, HF topics, different modes, software and hardware for decoding for different digital signals. I think they also have this database section as well, where you can download files and import them into a scanner if you've got a scanner and use a scanner. And the forums are really active as well. All right, that's everything that I had in my list. I'm sure there was something in there that hopefully is new to you, or maybe you haven't seen or heard before. So hopefully there's some useful stuff there. Any questions or comments, or does anyone have anything that they would share? Anything that should have been on the list that wasn't there?
Well, Kevin, I think this is one of the best collections of information lists that I've seen about ham radio online. This is very, very impressive. I know that I'm looking forward to having access to the recording of this, because I think my wife's going to be mad at me. I'm going to spend many hours looking at those things. One thing that I know that several of us have IC 7300s, the ICOM 7300. One site that I found, and it is Ham Cured Smoke. No spaces. Ham Cured Smoke is on YouTube, and he has the ICOM 7300 from A to Z. It's literally dozens and dozens, and he goes through the entire manual on the, and explaining and giving examples. I found that to be very, very interesting. So, wow. But anyway, this is one. Your collection is very impressive. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, we'll have the recording will be up on YouTube, and we'll get the slides up on the website as well. So, if you wasn't quick enough to write down any of the URLs or whatever, it's okay. They will be up on the website, so you can find them there. Yeah.
Hello there. Did you put on dxsummit.fi?
I didn't have that one. No.
It's real-time reporting of DX stations, and you can report what you hear, watch what you hear. It tells who is listening to the DX station. So obviously if someone in England is making contacts, you may not be able to, but a lot of the soda people and DXpeditions and things will have their information posted on there, and you can self-spot also.
Okay. Okay. Is that the one where they list like planned and upcoming DXpeditions? I think I might have seen that.
No. It's just real time.
Okay. Cool. Okay, I'll check it out.
So Kevin, when do you have time to work and sleep and all that if you have time to see all that stuff?
It's 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there.
But it is so comprehensive that one wonders, because it's just almost overwhelming. It's like the first time you walk into a library and you're told you can read all of this, It's like
for free.
Yeah, one at a time.
Yeah. I think that's worth noting that all of that stuff, I can't think of anything that was for money. No, all of it was free, right? So all of those resources, there was nothing on there where you have to pay to get access. That's all completely free information.
Yeah.
Which is amazing when you think about it.
Yeah.
Kevin, you should have listed kevinhooke.com also.
Oh.
That's your own blog. You do some good work on amateur radio too.
It's kind of a mix, yeah. It depends when you look at it, depending what kind of mood I'm in. It might be amateur radio, it could be something else. But yeah, I was recently posting a bunch of stuff about setting up and configuring some Packet stuff. So if you're interested in Packet, I was playing around with that recently and shared a bunch of info.
Am I correct? I thought there was one of the very well-known YouTuber ham radio bloggers that is from local area here. Is there one?
What was the name again?
I don't know the name. I know that I thought I have seen one that was up in this area from here to the hills and El Dorado Hills, and trying to remember the name, but I can't find out.
There are a couple. W6LG, Jim is one of those YouTubers. Another one was K6UDA. Bob, who's recently moved from, he was up around just north of us, and he just moved up to Idaho. Also, K7UGA, which is Randy Hall.
K7UGA?
Yeah, he was up in around Nevada City, Grass Valley, and he recently also moved out of state.
Wasn't that Barry Goldwater's caller?
I guess it's AGE, sorry, K7AGE.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, Randy Hall.
Yep.
And he was local, but he moved away. But yeah, I think the one that's really active now is W6LG.
I think that's the one I was thinking about.
Yeah, he actually was the owner of High Sierra Antennas. He retired several years ago, and now he's dedicating himself to doing Elmer videos and uploading those. He's up in Rockland.
Okay.
Interesting.
Very informative, sir.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah.
It was fun putting it together as well, because some of these things I've used recently, and some of these things I was like, oh yeah, I remember looking at that site a while back, and that was good. So it was interesting to go back and like remember some of these things and look at them again.
You need to do a blog on flight simulation.
Okay. I do that.
Oh, Neil, I think you're the expert though.
Yeah, far from it. But I'm watching this on my flight sim, so I have several screens here. That's why sometimes I look this way and then it's a lot more fun.
Very good. All right. Any more comments or questions? We've still got our club business to do at the end as well, so we should move on to that too. All right, do you want to move on? Jojo, you still around to do a treasury update and membership?
Yeah, I have a couple of minutes. If you can show up the Word file, please.
Yeah, sure.
I have it in my desktop here. So.
Okay, got it. You want me to share?
Yes, please.
Okay. Hey, I grabbed the last one that I saw in my email. Is it this one?
I worked in an ER.
Yes.
Do it. So I put no effort into it.
Is that large enough?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Can you full screen it?
Yeah. This. Oh, here you go. Zoom.
Better.
This. Getting closer. How about this?
There, much better. Well, good evening. This is Jojo, Kilo November 6 Hotel Tango Delta, treasurer of the River City Arts as well as membership chair. And I am just reiterating the report that we did from the last board meeting. And this is the information that is available to the general membership. I'm happy to say that we have 123 currently paid members, and we always welcome our recent members. They are Matt, Jen, and Michelle. So welcome to the club, and we hope you enjoy your stay. The total number of members is 134, and that would include the life members and the complimentary members. And of those, we have 66% ARRL membership. So for the next part, I think we are having a plateau with the membership application. So we had $90 received for our membership payment. And thank you, David Mink, for your monthly repeater contribution. Maybe you are not here, but we extend our gratitude. And we are getting ready for the field day event. And that's the most expensive investment we have for last month in preparation for the June field day. All in all, we have a remaining fund of $7,773. The last few items, can you scroll up, please? Would show you the recent activities that we had. So the first image is our treasury group. So I'm the newest part of that. And that has been concluded. So I'm part of the treasury group now.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I moved them in
The second picture is our new member, Jen. And I started this Get on the Air coffee session to Elmer Newhams into answering their questions and showing off some equipment so they will have a hands-on experience. We joined the morning coffee break net of a different club and she enjoyed it. And then the last picture is our recent UC Davis Emergency Communications first meeting. And you will see our webmaster and California State Representative Steve in the picture. We were at the 6th floor participating in the Sacramento noontime net. And lastly, we are looking forward to the farm and tractor days. I will be there, as well as the field day on June 26 and 27. I will be there too. So that is my report, and thank you very much for your time.
All right, thanks, Jojo. I think I might have had last week's slides. I don't think I've got the current pictures you're describing, but we got it. Cool, thank you. And then Carol, are you able to give us an update on our social media sites and website?
Okay, I'm unmuted. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, should be on now. Good. Okay, this is just a report of our website and web resources for the River City ARCs for the month of April. Okay, this is our homepage, n6na.org. Just a reminder, tomorrow we'll be having our net, and Marty is 2-meter net control, KM6MFI. I'll be doing the 10-meter net at 8:30 on 28.420, and 9 o'clock we'll be doing this slow scan TV net on our 441.30 repeater. And again, that's the listing of our nets. If anybody's interested in checking into our nets, you can do that on the 2-meter net. Also, you can log on by an Echo link or All-Star, where the repeater is linked that way over the internet as well. The slow scan TV net is also streamed live on YouTube. We have a great page there for DIY Radio Group, and the DIY Radio Group also has a groups.io group with all of the documentation for the wonderful project that we worked on this year, which was the Tunitin S QRP transmitter. And we've done a lot of work on that and got some pretty good results. And I know there's some members out there who haven't built their kits yet, but you have a lot of documentation, and we guarantee everyone who puts their hand to this, we will help them get through it if they need any help. Remember, we have a swap page also, and Just a little plug out there for Bob. He's going to be looking for a gin pole around the middle of this month to help put up his antenna back up on the tower. And we had some information here from Hank, K6HUH, about electronic stores here in Sacramento. Ali Surplus stuff down on Folsom Boulevard, Sacramento Electronics. And everybody's anticipating the arrival of the ham radio outlet on Auburn Boulevard. They're actually going to be interviewing for people who would like to work at that store on May 20th, 21st, and 22nd. The website activity for April, we had a tremendous bump up since March. Total page views went from 2,454 to 5,943. That's over a 100% increase in web activity. And yeah, it was a little surprising. On April 9th, we had the maximum number of page views in one day was 907. We think for some reason something went viral that directed towards our website on that day, and we still haven't figured it out. The most active web page, again, was the home page with 3,462 page views. Then the 10-meter page, second place, and then the magnetic loop project page. Views by source. This time, most of our views were not directed by Google. Most views came directly to our URL address, which is n6na.org. And then Google was in second place. Most of our visitors, again, were from the United States, California, majorly, New York, Florida, and then many other states and countries around the world. And as far as our social media goes, we had 1,161 views on YouTube channel this last month. We currently have 310 subscribers, and Facebook page has 517 followers. And Twitter, we have 140 followers, and Discord server, we have 19 members. Again, anybody is interested in contributing anything to our web resources, please send us an email, contact@n6na.org. And I think Kevin did a really good review on all of the web resources that the club has. Thank you very much. And that's my report. Thank you.
Thanks, Cal. All right. Anything else of interest for the meeting tonight before we wrap up? Any news anyone has to share? Anything interesting? You're busy looking through my list of websites. All right. All right. Well, should we wrap up?
What would be appropriate?
I guess, yeah. It's coming up to 9 o'clock. All right. Well, thanks, everyone. Thanks for Lynn and Michael for joining us earlier and giving us the overview of the Medical Reserve Corps. I don't know if they're both still on or not, but thanks for taking the time to do that for us. And thanks, everyone, for joining. And recording of the meeting will be up on YouTube later tonight.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye. Have a good evening. Thank you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.